So I put together a BBC for yesterday for Christmas. And because we didn't have any power, we weren't able to do the BBC. So I wanted to do it as a post-Christmas BBC sharing. Because for some reason, while I was on retreat this past week, I was thinking a lot about Christmas. What it used to be, I think, in my life. And what came up for me is that carol, Joy to the World. Not Joy to the World by the Three Dog Night. Joy to the World by, whoever wrote the Christmas carols. And when I was a child, I really took to heart the fact that baby Jesus was the joy to the world. The wonders of his love, the wonders of his love, the wonders. And I remember the birth of Jesus representing hope because my family wasn't a really happy family most of my life. And when Christmas came, for some reason, the carols and maybe the significance of it, the family was a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more harmonious, a little bit happier with itself. And so, as far as my life as a child was concerned, that Jesus, there was joy in the world. And it was in my family at that time. And so I had... So that song always kind of had a special significance in my mind because Christmas was one of the few times of the year when we actually got along and there was some harmony. Now, as a Buddhist, joy is different. I mean, we don't have saviors. We don't have baby Jesuses. But what the Buddha teaches us is that we are responsible for bringing the joy to ourselves and joy to the world. And there are no saviors. And so... except within the context of the way that he actualized and taught the teachings, is that if we take them into our hearts and minds, it really is a saving. It's a saving of our lives. It's a saving of our minds. It's a really, if we want to be saviors to ourselves, it's about integrating the Dharma in our life. So what does joy in the mind look like? What does it feel like? How does it manifest, within a Buddhist worldview, or maybe as a human family worldview? I think the world this past year, the human family and the earth has had a really difficult year, So I was really thinking a lot in this retreat on, how does joy manifest? How does Dharma joy manifest in our minds? Especially as we come to the end of this year here, what does it look like to each of us as we end the year so we can recognize and rejoice in its presence? And what's interesting about virtues like joy is that they don't generally show off and take the spotlight. Unlike our afflicted states of mind, which tend to do a lot of grandstanding, they do a lot of attention getting, and they're loud and they're obnoxious, and they just, look at me, I'm afflicted, here I am. The virtues in our mind are sometimes a little bit more, their skill is that they're a little bit quieter. They don't need to be out there in the spotlight. And so you have to pay attention and watch and feel how, these virtuous qualities of mind show themselves, especially, and for joy in this particular time of year. So I wanted to share with some of the things that came up for me is, this is not one of those states of mind that I have had an easy time with in my life. People used to tell me, Nancy, you don't have any joy in your life. Come on. So I've been thinking about it on what does joy mean and how does it manifest in my mind and how do I see it in the world? And so I have a few things that I wanted to share. First, joy. I mean, just the sound of those three letters. Joy. I don't know about you, but it really it invites me to pause for a moment. And what it does is it invites me not to look outside myself, but there is this sense of really going inside myself and touching base with my heart. Joy. 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 I mean, there's something about the sound of those three letters that I really, it helps my mind. The stories drop and all the worrying of my inside mind that just whirs like a little engine all day long. When I say the word joy, it really does do a little bit of a pause inside my mind. That's how I've been experiencing it the past week or so. So here's some of the things that I would define as joy in my life. Joy is a state of mind that recognizes the mind's nature. First, its basic goodness. Its potential, which is total fulfillment and awakening. And its power to make choices continually, moment by moment, to benefit. Joy gets what the mind is about and what the precious human life is about. Joy recognizes personal experience as priceless and witnessing others' experiences as an honor. It is very curious about what life brings. In fact, it's not scared of life at all. When you really think, when your mind has got a contentment to it, an open-heartedness to it, a joy to it, life comes, and it's not like we're not scared about it, we're not judging it, we're not defending ourselves around it, it's just really quite engaged. And it's really into watching us experience life. Joy is nourished by the truth of the certainty of death and its uncertainty of when it will come, like a field uses the spring rain. It knows there is no time to piddle, no time to gripe, no time to space out. Joy keeps death in mind frequently and has its priorities straight. So once again, while I was looking out the window, I was having this joy in my mind. It was like I could die. I could, there's no certainty to how long this experience is going to be. And to take death into our minds, Venerable says, if you really contemplate death, there's an incredible clarity and peace of mind that comes with that. And when I was thinking about it, there's a certain kind of joy and spaciousness that comes in the mind because you're kind of cutting the crap, cutting all the procrastinating, cutting all the distraction. It is unperturbed by what other people think, but is completely attentive to what the mind in which it dwells thinks. It is not easily discouraged, even by world events. It just doesn't care. Not that it's like an arrogant, whatever, but it just doesn't care what other people think. It's so true to itself. It's so aware of the mind that it lives in that it doesn't care. It's watching the mind that it dwells in, but it's not caring about what other people think. It celebrates the success of others and particularly notices and appreciates the little virtues happening in the world that pass by all day long. When I have this kind of state in mind, I notice other people's goodness. I notice the little tiny kindnesses that people do. Not only my own, but they just pass by. They pass by in the living room. They pass by by the compost bin. They pass by down the driveway. The mailman comes. The joy just appreciates the goodness and the kindness of others. It gives without hesitation because it doesn't keep a scorecard. Joy just gives. It's spontaneous, relaxed, open-hearted. It welcomes change as the condition for its sustainability because you can guarantee that things are always going to change, and what a joy to know you have finally found something you can count on. Joy doesn't get caught in nostalgia, which is all about thinking of being pissed off because things aren't permanent. Things are unexpected. Things are transitory. Joy doesn't care. Change is welcomed. Joy with its companions, laughter and humor, keep the mind in good spirits because it's a long journey to Buddhahood. And lucky for Joy and his friends, there's no lack of material. We do the silliest things. And Joy is really open to just looking at that stuff and just laughing and saying, oh my goodness, what were you thinking? Oh, how silly, how foolish, how funny. And it's a long way. Gosh, who knows how many more eons we have to do to get to Buddhahood. And if we don't have a sense of humor, we don't have joy, we don't have laughter, we're not going to get there. So the Buddha gave us a recipe for joy and all the other virtues in his teachings. And so what I put this with is, so let's use that recipe. The virtues are kind of like recipes for a great meal. And make something tasty to serve living beings with. We do this by the way we live the Dharma, by the way we use its ingredients of open-heartedness, love, compassion, ethical conduct, wisdom, to serve the world a feast from our own side. And that's how we can be joy to the world. That's how we can be part of the causes and conditions for our own joy and for the joy in this world that needs it so badly. And there's plenty of it out there. So let's really mix up something good and really give it away as a big feast to all our dear mothers and fathers. We all deserve it, for sure. Anyway, that's what I want to share.